We are live. Okay. All right. Sticking with the live thing, we're gonna do today. I've gotten through the first four episodes of Wonder Man, so I want to kind of just talk about the first four, and then like once I get through the other four, I'll do another part two review, kind of overall, just kind of summing up the series. But so far, um, this is this is this is one of the best character shows really, I mean, I don't want to say on all of TV, but like it's up there as far as the character development and what they're doing with the characters, as it should be, because it's a meta show about actors. So it's like that's the one thing you should be able to get right. And I think where Dustin Daniel Creighton deserves credit is that he's pulling this off by getting talent like Ben Kingsley and Yaya. Um, when you get those two kind of caliber of actors, you can do something like this. And it's the perfect pitch to Marvel Studios. It's low budget, but it further develops the characters that they already have in their sandbox. And yeah, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying too about Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley's Sir being Ben Kingsley's character. They, a lot of people felt like they fumbled the ball on him originally as the Mandarin, doing what they did, and this is one of those things where I was talking about where this is kind of like all part of his redemption. Because you think about the last few times he's shown up, he's an original character now to the MCU. So seeing the twist of it, I think that the biggest thing out of the first four episodes that I wasn't expecting was that Trevor Slattery was being manipulated by the Department of Damage Control. And that's something from seeing the trailers that I didn't think. Like when I was thinking about a buddy team up kind of show, I didn't have that added weight to why they were teaming up. And I think that works brilliantly. Um, that's what really drives the show. Seeing the agent come back, his name escapes me, but he's been in a couple of things now. Seeing him continuously pop up, but also getting structure, like when they had the meeting about the jails not being, whoa, about the jails not being full or being half full, I think was what he said. I think seeing that, sometimes you kind of feel like he is the guy, he's the leader, so to speak. So sometimes you kind of feel like he's the guy, you know what I mean? Like he's the head agent. And um seeing that he has bosses and there's people above him, it makes me kind of wonder, well, it makes me wonder a couple things. Number one, is the Department of Damage Control going to be um how they introduce the Sentinel program, and does it just evolve and then change in name? Seeing where Department of Damage Control kind of came from as far as their origins, as far as as far as starting off in Spider-Man Homecoming, and Tony Stark building it. It'd be fun to see that evolve into Sentinels and Baltimore Trask and Gyrick and all of that. Like it'll be interesting to see if that's how they kind of spin that and do that whole thing. Um, but the political ramifications of them building a jail for these superheroes, so they have to make Simon Williams out to be dangerous criminal. Again, like Marvel Studios is cooking when it comes to mirroring real life reality. And those who don't want to see it won't see it. And those who see it or already see it, they'll recognize it. Hats off to that. I like the episode with him going back home to his mom and his brother and seeing the dynamic of his family relationship and how that plays into his powers because they have not yet said how he's gotten his powers or how his powers even really like work. Like they're keeping that all kind of mysterious. So it's like this is a true origin story. And yeah, yeah. So I enjoyed that episode. I know everybody's talking about the Doorman episode, and I do think that is like a introduction or a play on how they would potentially develop the character of Cloak. I do kind of wish they would kind of explain a little bit more on that, but everybody's talking about the Josh Gad, you know, cameo, so to speak, and just how he and like what happens to him. And this is a spoiler review. I'll have to make sure I put that in the title, but the fact that he goes in, my man, it just does not come out. And he had done it before. Like they had been doing it because he saved other people in the fire. So like, where do these people go when they go inside a doorman? And how does that relate to Simon Williams and his power set? Man, the first four episodes, and I got four more to go, so I'm not gonna overreact. But did he go to the void? Like that's what I wrote. I put it's like, yo, did he go to the void? Is he in with Cassandra down in the void with Gambit and Elektra and Blade? Like it'll be I, honestly, if you're Ryan Reynolds and the reports of Deadpool 4, that's what he's focused on and yada yada yada. If I'm Ryan Reynolds and I got any kind of relationship with Josh Gad or any kind of relationship where they can pull him back in for a cameo in the void, if they ever went back that route, I would do it. If I were them, I would do it. And yeah, they need to do they need to do something with that if that's what the case is. But um, man, this is the kind of stuff they should be doing on Disney Plus. I think I saw a question about the whole Marvel Spotlight aspect of it and why um Marvel Spotlight shows don't get a second season and everything. I honestly think what they're doing with Marvel Spotlight is that's them telling you that this is us taking a chance. This is us doing what some people will call artsy fartsy film or television. So, something that hopefully maybe gets nominated or wins awards or something like that. Like you're gonna have that quality of a performance and production and everything behind it and vision. And that's what they did. It's a good way to kind of separate the normal Marvel superhero stuff from the Marvel superhero I want to try something stuff. And that's what they did. So I think that's more so what Marvel Spotlight is them like, trying stuff and everything doesn't need to fall under that. But yeah, they definitely should be doing one of these a year as well. I mean, you leave it up to me, man. I still don't see how you can't be producing at least 4 TV shows a year, at least. And that's live action. That's not counting animation. Like I understand they're doing 2, 3 animation on top of that. So that's the reason why. And it's just like they talked about slowing down, but when you think about it, why? Like if you do, 2 animations, 2, 3 animations a year, or really you need just 2 animations a year. You need Neighborhood Spider-Man and X-Men 97. I think What If is done and run its course kind of, but I wouldn't even mind getting with the animation of What If. I wouldn't even mind getting a MCU story. So, like for instance, Armor Wars. They want to cancel Armor Wars. I wouldn't mind getting the animation version of Armor Wars in the What If animation style that was like canon to the MCU, but that took place back in the past with Rhodey and maybe explaining some things. I think that they could do more with their storytelling, with their characters and development if they instead of doing What If, just did actual like like animation Marvel Studios shows or movies in that animation and told the story. But as far as Wonder Man, um, I was excited for it because I knew it was going to be this. It gave me a lot of nostalgia. Not nostalgia. I'm not an actor who ever acted in LA. So it's like that part of it is not necessarily nostalgia, but just watching him do the self tapes and like not having somebody to do the self tape with and having to record it himself and talk to himself in the acting. I have done that before. I have done that many of times. I don't have somebody to call to come read and break down lines with me and stuff. Like I have to do it all. So it's like man, I felt his struggle on that one. Um, Watching him crash and burn on the set of American Horror Story show, which is FX, and that's owned by Disney. So that's the reason why they're able to do it. Same thing with Josh Gad doing Olaf song. It's like that's all Disney. So it's kind of cool to see them incorporate a lot of that. But watching him crash and burn, nitpicking it, I know as an actor how you get to that point, and I get it. And then when you feel like you don't do, like I recently did a few years ago actually I did a pilot in which I kind of stopped myself from kind of doing that. And then as an actor, it's one of those things in retrospect. You always like even when I was driving home from Chicago, like I was just like, man, I should have did X, Y, and Z, or man, I should have did this, or you know, a lot of it, especially when you do comedy, is like being in the moment to do the improv, and then it's just like there's always like ideas that pop in your head after the fact. So I can kind of relate to some of that stuff going on in his story with what he was doing, and he's like a working actor. So